There you go. We're going to start with some squat touchdowns. Today we're going to be doing our progressive set. So we're going to go through each round 2 times. I'm going to have you first start touching all the way down to your ankles. And then I'm going to have you reach all the way up. I'm going to squat all the way down. And then reach all the way up. Starting to stretch out your legs, your torso. Squeezing your butt cheeks forward at the top. Keeping the weight back in your heels. Awesome. Last 3, 2, and then I'm going to have you reach all the way down for your ankles. Keep your feet a little wider than hip width. You're going to keep your legs all the way straight, and then we're going to bend your legs so you're sitting kind of like in a chair, bringing your chest up, and we're going to straighten the legs back again, pushing butt up towards the sky. Then sit back in your chair again, bring your chest up a little bit like we're in a squat, and then send the back again. Should feel a nice stretch along the back of your legs. Try to get 3 more in here. Sitting nice and low when we come into that squat. Perfect. You're gonna roll all the way up. You're gonna be going to hip openers. Bring your hands on your hips. We're gonna bring that leg up and around to the side. Getting up through the knee. Awesome. Do one more on this side. We're going to switch it over to the other leg, bringing that knee up and around. Moving up through the heel. Getting that big rotation in your hip. Here we go, then I'm going to have you come into a squat, keeping your hands in prayer. 1 butt kick backwards, another squat, and butt kick. Just start to warm up on balance a little bit. Engaging the outer thighs to bring yourself to standing. And then starting to engage the hamstrings as you bring that heel back towards butt. Awesome. Last 4, 3, 2. And then I'm going to have you pick it up in jumping jacks. Bringing those feet out. Hands up overhead. Starting to engage the lats by bringing those elbows down to your sides. Awesome. Last 5, 3, 2, and bring those legs out super duper wide. And then we're going to go into side lunges. Bring the legs over to the side, standing all the way up. Sitting over in that heel, but squeeze up to the top. Every time you sit down in that lunge, you feel a huge stretch on that inner thigh. I don't want to stretch those out before we start. Awesome. Last 2 each way. Sitting your butt back. And keep those legs out nice and wide. And now we're going to go into quads. Bring one leg back behind your butt. Holding that knee in nice and close. Keeping your heel back. Slightly thrusting that hip forward to get a nice stretch in the front of your thigh. I'm going to drop that leg, switch it over to the other side. Bringing that heel back towards your butt. Thrusting the opposite hip forward to get a stretch all along the front of that thigh. Pretty done for these last 2 stretches. I'm going to have you find a bench or a surface. I want you to start with your left foot up on the surface. We're going to flex your foot, keeping your toe pointed up towards the sky. And I want you to reach both hands for your toe as you push your hip back behind you. So it's going to put a little less of a stretch in the back as when we just bend over and reach for our toes. You should feel a greater stretch all the way along the back of your leg, possibly in that calf as well. Okay, so now I'm going to have you put that foot flat on that surface. You're going to bend your knee and you're going to thrust forward a little bit. As you thrust forward, you should feel a little bit of a stretch in that right hip flexor. You want to try to keep that right leg as straight as you can, keeping the weight in the heel of that left foot, lunging forward. So we're straighten out that left leg one more time, keep that foot flexed, then try reaching for your toes again. One more time in that hamstring stretch. This side should feel a little bit easier now because we've already done it once. And we're bringing that left leg down, switch it over to the right foot, putting that right heel up on that surface, keeping that toe pointed up, foot flexed. Now as we push our hips back, we're gonna reach for that toe. Imagine you're bringing your chest down towards your knee. Taking a few deep breaths in here to really breathe into the stretch. And I want you to flatten your foot on that surface, lunging forward into that right foot, letting your left hip come forward. And you should feel a subtle stretch in the front of that left hip flexor. It may not be as great as the right. We want to do our best to keep both heels on the floor and the left leg super straight. And now you lunge it back again one more time, bringing that right foot flexed, keeping it straight along that surface. And reaching for those pinky toes. Perfect. All right, shake out your legs. We're gonna start on the floor. We're gonna go through each move for 30 seconds. We're gonna have 6 exercises we're gonna go through twice. Maybe start with bridges, so we're gonna start on our back. For the first set of bridges, we're gonna start with pigeon bridges, so you're gonna have your toes together and your heels apart. So when we set this one up, you're making almost like a triangle or a piece of pizza with your feet. When we do these, we wanna focus on squeezing your knees and your inner thighs together the whole time. So whenever you start laying on your back, we're gonna look through this bridge in 5, 4, 3, 2, and butt squeeze lifting all the way up, slowly coming right back down. You should still have most of the weight in your heels. Toes are touching. We're squeezing those knees and inner thighs together as we lift the hips. You're gonna have a lot less range of motion in this type of bridge because we're keeping the knees together. You're gonna do your best to lift those hips up as high as you can, given that limited range of motion. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. Last 3, 2, and then lower those hips. We're gonna straighten out the feet. We're gonna lift just the right leg up in the air. Then we're gonna come up and down single leg bridges on that left leg. So as you raise that right leg up, imagine you're reaching that heel up for the ceiling, like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your foot, keeping all the weight in that left heel as we lift that hip up and down, squeezing and contracting that left butt cheek to start to engage our glutes. Last 3, 2, and then lower that right foot, switch it over to the left, bringing that left leg up, keeping the weight in the right heel, butt cheek squeezing out to the top. Again, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through your mouth. Last 5, 3, 2, and rest. Hug your knees into your chest, stretching out that low back. And then I'm gonna have you point those toes up in the sky for our toe reach crunch. So first 30 seconds, keeping those toes pointed up. We're gonna exhale to reach for the ankles. Inhale as we lower. So start this one here. Every time you crunch, imagine you're bringing your chest up towards your knees. Keeping that chin tucked under to help support your low back and to protect your upper neck. Awesome. Let's try to get a couple more here. Reaching for those toes. Last 3, 2, and then we're going to bring the hands behind the head. Send those legs out for bicycle crunches. Only 30 seconds. Every time you kick that opposite leg out, try to bring the opposite knee in towards your shoulder, keeping those elbows out wide. Exhale, exhale, breathing. Keep that low back on the ground, keep squeezing that belly button in. Last 3, 2, and rest. Then we're gonna roll it over. We have one set of planks before we start that all over. So our first plank, we're just gonna hold still in your high plank. We're gonna stay here for 30 seconds, keeping your hands right under your shoulders, pressing back through those heels. So let's start that hold, squeezing your belly back up and towards your spine, tucking the hips under so our butts aren't sticking up in the air, lengthening the top of your head to the opposite wall as you're pushing your feet back, keeping yourself nice, long, and straight. Pushing through that shape. We're almost there, last 10 seconds. And we got 3, 2, and rest. So for this next one, you're gonna wanna bring your feet a little bit further apart. We're gonna rotate. As we pivot those feet, reach your arms up, bring yourself back to the middle, and rotate the opposite way. So we're gonna set up 30 seconds for our rotations, and then we're gonna set back up for our core warm up all over again. Doing our best to shift our weight, keeping our balance as we pivot those feet. Still squeezing belly button in, slightly thrusting the hips forward as we rotate. Awesome, see if we get 2 more on each side. 3, 2, and rest. Perfect, stretch out that low back if you need to. We're gonna roll back over to those bridges again. Setting up in that pigeon bridge, toes touching, heels apart. Second set, and 3, 2, and lift. So we're squeeze those inner thighs together, squeeze those knees together as tight as you can. Keeping those heels apart, toes touching, weight to the heels. This one you should feel a lot more in those inner butt cheeks rather than the outer thighs. It's a very tiny move. We still want to focus on drawing the belly button towards the spine as we lift the hips up. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling as we lift. Last 3, 2. Then we're going back to our single leg this time. Let's start on the right, bringing that left leg up in the air. And we're going to press up through that right heel, squeezing right butt cheek up to the top. The more that you can press those arms down into the ground, the more stable your upper body will feel as you press up through that heel. One side's always harder than using both legs. Keep squeezing that right butt cheek. Let's try to get a couple more on this side. Almost like you're trying to touch the heel with that left foot. 3, 2, and then lower that left leg. Bring that right leg up in the air. Last time, single leg bridge on that left-hand side. Pressing it through that heel, left butt cheek squeeze and contract to lift those hips. Awesome, keep breathing. Try to get a couple more on this side. We got 3, 2, and rest. Lower those heels, lower your hips, hug your knees into your chest. Then we're gonna send those legs straight up to the sky one more time in that toe crunch. Reaching for your ankles in 30 seconds. Big exhale every time you reach. Bringing the chest towards the knee. Exhale as we sit up. Inhale as we slowly roll down. We want to make this controlled on the way up and on the way down. Moving with intention so we're not flailing ourselves around. Keep breathing. Exhale every time you draw that belly button in toward your spine. Last 3, 2, and last one with bicycle. Bringing those hands underneath your head, keeping those elbows out nice and wide. Opposite knee towards opposite shoulder. You want to keep those elbows out wide. Make sure we're just supporting the head and not pulling on your neck. Keeping that low back on the ground. Keep breathing. Keeping those legs out nice and long. Last 3, 2, and rest. And then we have one more set of those planks, setting up first for our high planks. bringing those hands right underneath your shoulders. Pressing back through those heels, last 30-second holds. Really pressing our hands firmly into the ground. Squeezing that belly button in nice and tight. Tucking those hips under. It's a good chance to start to control your breathing since we're holding still. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Last 5. 3, 2, and then last 7 of those rotations, bringing those feet a little wider than hip width, rotating over onto one side, bringing both hands back to the floor, and rotating to the other side. Awesome, helping warm up our shoulders and our upper abs. Keep breathing, we're already halfway. Reaching up for the sky, opening up in that chest. Last 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Stretch that elbow back if you need to. We are gonna start our first circuit of exercises. We're gonna go through each move 2 times in a row. So once we do one exercise, we're gonna rest for 20 seconds. Then we're gonna repeat that same exercise for 40 seconds. After we do it twice, then we're gonna move on to the next one. So this first round, we're gonna set up for suitcase squats. So you're gonna keep 2 weights that you feel comfortable squatting with. Keep in mind, you're gonna have 2 rounds of 40 seconds. You're gonna keep your feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. The dumbbells are gonna come to the sides. You're gonna squat like you're picking up suitcases, but squeeze up to the top. So after you finish that twice, we're gonna set the dumbbells to the side. We're gonna set up for 2 rounds of push-ups. If you need to do these from your knees, you can do these from your knees. If you feel comfortable doing it from your feet, go from your feet. Our third one, we're gonna set up for our hollow hold with the 1 scissor kick around. So of course, I'll remind you of these as we go through. The first 40 seconds, we're only gonna move the right leg, keeping that left leg still. The second round, we're gonna keep the right leg still. We're only gonna move that left leg up and around. We wanna make sure we keep the low back on the ground, and then we're not overstraining the hip flexors. Then our last one, we're gonna have 2 rounds of jumping jacks, just normal ones. And then the second set of our circuit, I'm gonna progress all the exercises. So we're gonna start out with those suitcase squats first. So grab 2 weights you feel comfortable squatting at your sides. We're gonna set up this first one in 3, 2, and squat. So sticking that butt back. You wanna make sure that the chest stays above your hips. Your other visual can be like you're picking up 2 grocery bags from the side. Sticking your butt back, and then weight back in our heels. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you stand. Squeezing your belly button in as you thrust your hips forward at the top. Perfect. And we got 3, 2, and wrist. Shake out those legs. And decide if you want to switch weights. We're going to do that exercise one more time. 40 seconds. We're doing each exercise twice before we move on. Setting up again in 3, 2, and go. One last round, sitting all the way down. Butt squeeze up. And we repeat the same exercise. Gives you a chance to work on what might not have felt right the first round. It's also going to push your endurance on those same muscles. So this is working a lot in the legs, the shoulders, your core, low back strength even because you're keeping the weights below your hips. Awesome, last few seconds here. Sitting nice and low, and butt squeeze. We got 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Set those weights to the side. We'll need them in a few rounds. We're gonna set this next setup. We're gonna be in our push-ups. So now we're gonna do push-ups 2 times. 1 set for 40 seconds. We're gonna rest for 20 seconds. Then we're gonna do it again for 40 seconds. So we're gonna set up this first one in 3, 2, And go. Inhale as you come down to the ground. Exhale as you push up. Inhale and exhale. You have to go to your knees, go to your knees. You want to imagine that you're bringing your chest down towards the floor. We're still keeping those hips tucked under, so no butts are up in the air. Keeping the elbows back and below the shoulders. Almost imagine like you're squeezing the floor together, making a fold and a rug. Last 10 seconds here, you got this. Inhale and exhale. You got 3, 2, and rest. Stretch out those arms in child's pose. We have to do one more set of push-ups. Setting this one up. In 3, 2, and go. Second set of 40 seconds. Push-ups are always hard first thing in the morning. So do your best. Even if we're on those knees, we're still going to be working hard. Doing your best to keep that belly button drawing in towards your spine. Exhaling every time you press up. Awesome. Keep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Last 10 seconds. 3, 2, and rest. Woo, shake those arms out. And we're gonna roll it over, setting up on your back. We're gonna point both legs up at a 45-degree angle. We wanna make sure that that low back stays on the ground. You can always bring your hands underneath your low back if that feels comfortable. Then we're gonna start with just the right leg. So we're gonna bring the right leg underneath the left, then above the left. If you have hip issues or you get a lot of tightness or clicking, I want you to make sure that you're keeping your legs up high enough so you don't feel any issues in that hip. A lot of the work's gonna be in that thigh as well, as you do your best to keep your legs super duper straight. So we're gonna be working the quad to keep that leg contracted. We're still just moving the right, just moving the right. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Last 3, 2, and rest. Awesome. Shake it out for a second. We're gonna do that same thing for 40 seconds. This time we're gonna be moving just the left leg, keeping that right leg fixed. So we're gonna set up in that 45-degree angle. 3, 2, and go. So we're gonna really focus on drawing the belly button in towards the spine. Imagine you're making a U shape with your abdomen. Pressing that low back firmly into the ground. You have your head on the ground, resting it nicely. You keep your shoulder blades up. Make sure that you're still tucking your chin under so we feel safe in that neck. Just moving the left leg around that right leg. Keeping them both as straight as we can. You should be starting to feel this a little bit in those low abs if you haven't already. Awesome, we got 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Hug your knees into your chest, rock it back and forth. And then our last exercise, we have 2 sets of jumping jacks before we start this full circuit over. Set this first one up nice and easy in 3, 2, and go. Bring the hands up to the side. Awesome, shaking out those arms and those legs. After all those push-ups and squats. Still drawing the belly button in. The tighter you are, the lighter you feel. Awesome, we're so close. Last 10 seconds here. And we got 3, 2, and rest. Woo. Breathe, grab water if you need it. We have one more round of jumping jacks. Deep breath in, setting back up in 3, 2, and go. Awesome, stimulating those toes. Reaching all the way up. Then bringing those elbows down to your sides. Keep breathing. If at any point you need to tap it out, you can always bring one leg out to the side. You guys are doing awesome. We're already over halfway. Last 10. 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Shake out those legs. We're starting over with our second set of squats. This time you're going to keep the dumbbells wrapped up at your shoulders. So this is going to be a little more challenging than the suitcase squats, since we're going to require a tiny bit more upper abs. So to bring those dumbbells up at your shoulders, setting up our squats in 3, 2, and go. If at any point it starts to get too hard, like it's difficult to breathe, or you can't control your movement anymore, you can always lose the weights altogether, or you can bring it back to our first variation and keep them at the sides like your suitcase squat. If you're still ready to challenge yourself, keep the weights up above your shoulders. You only have 10 seconds left here. Belly button in, butt squeeze at the top. Last 3, 2, and rest. Woo! I'm gonna rest it out for 20 seconds. We have one more set of those suitcase, or those rack squats. Bringing those dumbbells back to shoulders in 3, 2, and go. For our last 7 squats. But squeeze up to the top. Perfect. Keep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Pushing that butt back. Weight in your heels. Butt squeeze at the top. Another option, if you can only hold one weight, you can always just keep one weight at your chest and make it like a goblet squat. It won't be as intensive on the shoulders either. If you need to go back to that suitcase squat, you can always drop them back by your sides. Awesome, we got 3, 2, and rest. Shake those legs out. We are all done with our squats. We're gonna set up for our last set of push-ups. This one I'm gonna have you try one plank jack in between. So if you have to set up on your knees for push-ups, we're gonna come into your push-up, push back into your plank, one jack, back into your push-up, one plank, one jack. So we're gonna set this one up in 3, 2, and go. The jack starts to be too much. You can always skip it and just stay in your push-ups, practicing that upper body strength. See what feels right for you today. Awesome, keep breathing. Last 3, 2, and rest. Woo. Keep breathing. We only have one more set of push-ups. Setting this last round up in 3, 2, and go. Last time, just one push-up. Send those legs to your plank. One jack. One push-up. One jack. Keep breathing. Keeping those hands underneath those shoulders. Exhale as you push up. Inhale as you lower. We're way over halfway, last 10 seconds. You guys are doing so good. And we got 3, 2, and rest. Woo! Shake your arms out. So we have one more set of the scissor kicks on our back. This time we're going to move both legs back and forth. So rather than keeping one leg fixed and moving only one leg, I'm going to move both of them And a nice fluid motion back and forth. Setting up in 3, 2, and go. So we're gonna keep that belly button drawing in, low back still pressing on the ground. If you need to work on catching your breath and controlling your breathing, keep the legs up higher. If you feel like you're ready to push yourself and challenge your abs a little bit more, then bring those legs down, lower down towards the ground. And make sure we're still keeping that chin tucked under to keep that neck safe. Still drawing the abs in to protect those hip flexors. We got 3, 2, and rest. Woo. Deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. We only have one more set of those scissor kicks, last 40 seconds. In 3, 2, and go. Last time here. Inhale and exhale. Keeping those toes pointed. Still squeezing that belly button in towards spine. Tucking your chin under like you're trying to give yourself a double chin. And that will help you take any strain out of your upper neck and shoulders. Keep breathing. Keeping that low back on the ground. Perfect, we're so close. You can get a couple more here. Last 3, 2, and rest. Woo! Then we have our last set of those jumping jacks. So for these jumping jacks, we're gonna go into our 3 jumping jacks to 1 touchdown. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, touchdown. If the touchdown is too much, you can always just skip it and just stay in regular jacks. So last 2 rounds here in 3, 2, and go. 1, 2, 3, and those legs touch down. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Awesome. We're already halfway. 1, 2, 3. We're so close. Last 5, 3, 2, and rest. Woo. Take a couple deep breaths in. Using that rest to let your heart rate come down a tiny bit. We have 1 more set of those 40-second jacks. In 3, 2, and go. We have 1, 2, 3, touchdown. If the touchdown is too much, just stay in regular jacks. You can always stay in the side taps if you need to. And then go nice and slow into that touchdown to do what feels right. We're already halfway. Perfect, last 10. 3, 2, and rest. Yay. Grab water if you need it. We're gonna set up for this next set of exercises. So, for our first set of lunges, I'm gonna have you keep the weights, again, in that suitcase position. I want you to try curtsy lunges. If they're too much for you or don't feel okay on your knees, then I'm gonna have you go into regular reverse lunges. So ideally, we'll stay on the left leg for the first round. We're gonna bring the right leg backwards in that curtsy, bringing it slightly back into the side. If that doesn't feel right on your hip or your knee, come back into a regular lunge, then come right back up. So try a couple on the curtsy, see if it's okay, and then if you need to go to reverse, go to reverse. Second round, we're gonna go just on the right leg, bringing that left leg backwards. So we're gonna set up our first set, 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. In 3, 2, and go. Gonna bring that leg back into the side, press up through that heel, same leg, back into the side, press up through that heel, same leg, So we're burning out just this one leg right now. Squeezing that belly button in nice and tight. Weight in that heel. Butt squeeze. Should feel this a lot in that outer thigh and that inner thigh. We got 3, 2, and rest. Shake that left leg out. We're gonna set this one up again, this time only moving the left back, setting up on the right. So bring it all the way in that right heel. In 3, 2, and go. And step that left leg to the side and back. Perfect. One side always feels a little more natural than the other. Do your best to control this movement. Inhale and exhale. Keeping the weights nice and still at your sides. Shoulder blades back at the top. Keeping that chest up. Awesome. Keep breathing. Works a lot on core stability as well. So it's a very unstable lunge. Last 5, 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Set those weights down. Have them close enough to you for when we end up rolling over onto our back. So we're going to set up in a side plank. This first set, I'm going to have you set up on your right side, putting your right elbow underneath your shoulder. And then we're just going to hold. Ready? And 40 seconds hold. If it starts to be too challenging to keep your legs straight, you can always bend your bottom leg and push up through the knee. And that's going to put more of the emphasis in your hip and the side abs if you're not ready for that full leg push. If you can keep holding with both straight legs, keep both legs straight, bringing those hips forward, butt squeezing slightly, reaching that arm up for the sky. Doing our best to keep those hips lifted up. And we got 3, 2, and rest. You're gonna roll it over onto the left. Bringing the elbow right underneath that shoulder. No, we're just gonna hold for this first round, staying with straight legs if you can. In 3, 2, and hold. Keeping that belly button squeezing in. Bringing that top hip forward a little bit. That top shoulder back a tiny bit, opening up in the chest. And then keeping those hips lifted up, slightly squeezing to keep those hips forward. Keep breathing. You should be starting to feel this in your side abs. We're almost there. We have less than 10 seconds left. Keep breathing. If you need to bend that bottom knee, you can always bend that bottom leg, push up through the knee instead. We got 3, 2, and rest. Okay. So for our first set of sit-ups, you can either hold just one dumbbell at your chest, or you can hold both dumbbells at your shoulders, depending on how heavy they are. I'll show you both variations. We're gonna keep the legs bent. We're gonna come all the way down, sit all the way up, all the way down, sit all the way up. If you wanna try it with 2, let's say if you're up to 5 pounds, you can always sit up with 2, and then come back down. So do whatever feels right. We're gonna set up this first set of 40 seconds in 3, 2, and go. We're gonna keep that weight at your chest. Inhale as we lower, exhale as we sit up. Imagine like you're peeling a snicker up off the ground, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you sit up. Awesome. Keep breathing. We only have 10 seconds left here. And we got 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Breathe. We have one more set of those. Keeping it exactly the same. Setting back up for 40 seconds in 3, 2, and go. Inhale to lower, Exhale as you roll up one vertebra at a time. Really focusing on drawing belly button in towards spine. Exhale as you sit up, leading through that chest. Inhale as you lower. Perfect, keep breathing. We're already over halfway. Awesome, less than 10 seconds. And we got 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna set those dumbbells to the side. Then we're gonna stand up. For this cardio move, we're gonna be in squat thrust. So a squat thrust is like a burpee without a push-up. So do your best. We're gonna squat all the way down, bring the hands down to the floor, extend the legs out, bring the legs back in, stand all the way up, no jump. If it starts to be too much, I want you to just walk into your plank, walk back up, butt squeeze at the top. That's it. So we're gonna set up our first round, 40 seconds. In 3, 2, and go. So we're squatting, popping into our plank, back in, butt squeeze. Squatting, plank, butt squeeze. Perfect. Butt squeeze. I like to jump with my feet back, touching together in the plank. And then I bring my legs out wider than my hands when I come into my squat to make sure I can use more of my hamstrings and my glutes rather than the front of my hips. It also helps if you tend to have a lower, tighter low back. Last 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Breathe. Shake it out. We have one more set of those. Also sometimes known as modified burpees. Setting up in 3, 2, and go. Second set of 40 seconds, squatting, plank, and butt squeeze. If you need to walk your back, so you can alternate which leg you step back first. That way you're not always extending the same leg back. Working both hips equally. We're already over halfway. And butt squeeze. And butt squeeze, little press at the top. We got 3, 2, and rest. Woo! Okay, grab water, shake it out. We have another set of those curtsy lunges. You can guess, we're gonna keep the dumbbells racked. If dumbbells are too much, lose the weights altogether. If you need to keep them in your suitcase position, keep them down in your suitcase position. Setting up first on that left leg. In 3, 2, and go. Turn step back, butt cheek squeeze up to the top. Inhale, exhale. Going to lunges right after cardio is always very challenging, so do your best. We're working endurance in those inner thighs and outer thighs. Strengthening the core. Awesome, keep breathing. Let's see if we can get 3 more on this side. 3, 2, and rest. Woo, shake those legs out. We have one more set on just the right leg. Setting this one up in 3, 2, and go. Last time curtsy lunges on this side. Weight in that heel. Stepping back and slightly to the side. Using the glutes and core to help yourself come to standing. If the curtsy's too much, remember we can always just come straight back into our regular reverse lunge. And focus more on just the quads and glutes. So do what feels right on that knee and hip. Awesome, last 3, 2, And rest. Perfect, roll down the lunges. We have one more set of side planks on each side. So this time I'm gonna have you do a reach under. We're gonna set up on that elbow. Send the legs straight out again still. Now we're up in that plank position. We're gonna reach those hands under and extend all the way up. 40 seconds here. And go. Inhale as you reach. Exhale as you lift up towards the sky. Always come into that knee if you need to. Lifting up that hip. Squeezing that belly button in. Doing our best to really rotate through the torso. Imagine like you're trying to grab something underneath your rib cage, and then you're throwing it up to the sky. We got 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. I'm gonna roll it over. We only have one more side plank on this side. Last time in that reach under. Making sure the elbow's right underneath that shoulder. Sending up in 3, 2, and go. Perfect. Reaching underneath that rib cage. Squeezing that belly button in. Inhale as we reach. Exhale as we extend up towards the sky. Keep breathing. We're way over halfway. We only have 10 seconds left here. Squeezing that belly button in. We got 3, 2, and rest. Woo. Last time with that dumbbell sit-up. This time, at the top of your sit-up, I'm going to have you reach that dumbbell up overhead. If it's getting too hard to use the weight, you can also do this just by reaching your hands up overhead. Let's see if you can add that one shoulder press. We're going to set up 2 sets of 40 seconds in 3, 2, and go. We're going to inhale, come down, exhale, sit up, extend those arms. Inhale as we come down, exhale, extend those arms. Lifting up through the chest, belly button in. Nice, strong lower back as we reach up for the sky. Perfect. Keep breathing. Way over halfway. This is your last 10 seconds. Three, 2, and rest. Perfect. Breathe. Focus on taking some deep inhales through your nose, exhale through your mouth. We have one more set of those sit-up reaches. And 3, 2, and go. Last time, big sit-up, exhale. Press it all the way up. Awesome. Strengthening the top of those shoulders, our upper abs, and our lower abs. Awesome, keep breathing. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you sit up. Less than 10 seconds here, see if we can get a couple more in. Last 3, 2, and rest. Perfect. Okay, don't tell me last 2 rounds, last exercise, and then we pull it down. We're gonna go into normal burpees. So in a normal burpee, you hop all the way back. You have 1 push-up, do it from your knees or from your toes. Hop back in, little jump at the top. If you need to stay in squat thrust from before, you can skip the push-up and just do the same squat thrust that we did before. If you need to walk it out, walk it out. These are our last 2 rounds, and then we're done. Setting this one up in 3, 2, and go. So we're gonna hop it back. Do those knees if you need to for your push-up. Hop those feet back in, little hop at the top, back down. Being an object in motion, stays in motion. You let yourself come right back down to that plank. After you jump, you're gonna be able to keep moving. We're way over halfway. This is your last 15 seconds. You need to walk back into that plank. Come onto those knees, pushing up, walk your feet up, up squeeze. You can always skip the push-up if you need to. 3, 2, and rest. Woo! Keep breathing. We only have one more set of those. It's your last 40 seconds of fun. In 3, 2, and go. You rest the hop back. Should push up. Do the hop at the top. Awesome. Think of it as practice falling. If you were to fall in public, you want to get up nice and quick so no one sees. We're already over halfway. Challenge yourself to do 3 more. Perfect, last 10 seconds. 3, 2, and rest. Woo. Grab water. Then I'm gonna have you start with your legs out really far apart. First, I'm gonna have you come into your squat, pushing your knees apart with your elbows, keeping that chest up, pushing your butt back. You should start to feel a really nice stretch along those inner thighs, especially in that groin area. Taking a few deep breaths in here, really breathing the stretch. Then I'm gonna have you straighten those legs all the way, keeping those toes pointed out. And then let your head and your arms just dangle. Here you should feel a nice stretch along the outer thighs, possibly the back of those knees as well. And then I'm gonna have you heel toe your toes so they're pointing forward. So keep the legs out pretty wide. And then I'm gonna have you walking over, reaching for the back of your left ankle or your left calf, wherever you can reach. And I want you to gently pull your chest in towards your knee. Should feel a subtle stretch along that hamstring. Maybe a little bit in the calf. And then we're gonna walk it back to the middle. And then walk it over onto your right side. Gently pulling on the back of that right ankle or right calf. Pulling your chest towards your knee to get a nice stretch in the back of that leg. Then walk it back to the middle. We're slowly going to roll up. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to have you go down onto the floor for a couple. I'm going to have you start on your back. If you have a band handy and you want to use your band to put around your foot for a hamstring stretch, you can always do that. If you want to try this without a band, you can also just use your hands. And then keep one leg slightly bent. We're going to reach for your foot. If you can't reach, you can always hold on the back of your calf. And I want you to try to keep your leg as straight as you can. Again, pulling in towards your chest. So we get a nice stretch in the hamstring and the calf. If you can reach for your toe, that's going to be more of a bonus because you're going to be able to get a stretch along your calf as well. You have the band, that will also help keeping that toe in towards your face. And then if we're holding on to the foot without a band, grab onto the back of your calf. If you have the band there, still leave it around the ball of your foot. Then I want you to point your toe and get a couple circles in that ankle. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to have you switch directions, circle your ankle the other way around, just getting some nice mobility in that ankle. Okay, now I'm going to have you bend that leg across your leg that's on the floor. Kind of like you're crossing your legs in a chair. And then we're going to stick your hands around that thigh and then pull your thigh in towards your chest. So around that little hole in your legs, around the outside of that thigh that's bent. Take a couple deep breaths in here. You should feel a nice stretch along that outer hip on that left leg, like modified pigeon. That's going to help you stretch out your low back as well, making sure that we keep that back pressed in firmly into the ground as we pull the knee in towards your chest. And then release that leg, uncross your legs, and then we're going to bring that right leg up in the air. So if you have the band, you can put it around the ball of your foot. If you don't have the band right now, you can hold just from the back of your calf to the back of your knee as you gently pull your leg in towards your chest. We're going to do our best to try to keep that leg nice and straight. If you can reach for your toe, try gently pulling on that toe. You should feel a nice stretch along the back of your leg, especially in your calf. And then I'm going to have you point your toe, little tiny circles in that ankle, getting mobility and some stretching along that ankle. And then I want you to switch the directions of the circle, bring it around the other way. You may feel an intense stretch along the outer shin muscle. That's normal. And then I'm going to have you bend that leg over your left leg like you're crossing your legs in a chair. Then we're going to pull that left thigh up and towards your body, sticking the hands around that thigh, and then gently pulling in towards your chest. And then you should feel a big stretch along the outer hip and thigh of that right leg. Also pretty close into your groin. I'm going to take a few deep breaths in here, really breathing into this outer thigh stretch. You may also feel a stretch along the low back. Perfect. So we're going to uncross that leg. And then slowly roll up onto your butt. Last one, I want you to bring your legs out really, really wide. Keeping both feet flexed, toes pointed up. And I want you to do your best to just reach in front of you. If you can only reach a tiny bit, that's okay. You should feel a little bit of a stretch along the inner thighs and adductors. You may also feel this a little bit in the low back. If you can come down lower, you can try bringing your elbows down towards the floor. This is really going to help start to stretch out that groin area. Take one more deep breath in here, just reaching out as far as you can, like you're trying to touch the opposite wall. And slow, come back up. Then we're gonna roll over to standing. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take 3 giant deep breaths in. We're gonna take a big inhale as we fold forward, bringing the head down towards the ground. And then exhale as we slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, starting from low back, going to mid back and shoulders, making your head the last thing to come up. We're gonna take another big deep breath in, fold it forward. And then exhale as we slowly roll up. Again, just one vertebra at a time, stacking each one on top of one another. Then last big deep breath in, big inhale, holding forward. And then slowly rolling up, embracing that stretch all the way along our spine. Perfect. This looks so good.